Let me see.
Okay.
It's being live stream. Okay.
All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. This podcast is dedicated to your spiritual growth and cosmic exploration. I am your host, Sheila Seppi, and you are watching us on the Conscious Awakening Network. So if you haven't already signed up to be on our mailing list, like I tell you every week, please do so at theconsciousawakeningnetwork.org. And you can catch our replays on the Conscious Awakening Network YouTube channel or your favorite downloadable podcast locations such as Spotify, Google, Android, etc. Or you can even do so on our television platforms on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, and Android TV. But you do have to download our apps first. As always, I want to remind you to go to your phone app store. You can download our free phone app, watch all of our content. There's no charge for anything. So every month I have a new co-host, and I have met a dynamic lady that I know you guys are absolutely going to love. Her name is Tressa Mitchener. Now, she is the CEO of Revamp Incorporated. She's an international best-selling author, a transformational speaker, empowerment coach that has turned her life around from rock bottom to an inspiring success. And over the past 10 years, she has helped women overcome personal challenges and self doubt. She's been featured on CBN 700 Club, and Tressa empowers women struggling with inadequacies, insecurities, self esteem, and past traumas. By fostering self awareness, self confidence, and forgiveness, Tressa guides them towards fulfilling their lives. She aims to help women to recognize their God given worth and to shine their unique light. Tressa is one on a mission to help 1 million women overcome their struggles and build a life of confidence and fulfillment so that they can live the life that they deserve. And I have no doubt, Tressa, that you are going to reach that number and probably far surpass it. So I want to go ahead and bring Tressa up so everyone can meet her. I want her to well, first off, I want you to tell a little bit more about yourself, and I'd love for you to go ahead and to introduce our guest.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your co-host for the month. Yes, my name is Tressa Mitchener. And like Sheila said, I've been working with women for some time now. I've worked with men as well, but I mainly focus on the women who have made bad choices in their life and who are trying to get on the right track. I always tell them it's never too late to recreate their future. So I constantly work with our women in the communities, and I'm a transformational speaker where I go all over to speak and also share awareness about self-awareness and how these ladies can turn their life around from any type of struggle. So we do have our special guest with us today, which is Terry Ruffin. He is a highlight of the community. He's like a big brother. He works with young adults, trying to help them to change their life around, and he mentors them, and he just does a great job going out in the communities and working with these guys. So welcome, Terry.
Hey, how you doing? Can
Great.
y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, how
Yes.
everybody doing?
How are you doing?
I'm telling you, I'm here. I'm
Woohoo!
here.
All right. Well, we are excited to have you here. And Tressa said that tonight you're going to talk to us about defining street ignorance and prolonged adolescence. And I cannot wait to hear what you have to share with us.
Yes, most definitely. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we thank you so much for taking your time. And you want to give a little bit more information about yourself to people?
Yeah, sure. Um, I guess simply put, I'm just a man that basically that God has allowed for me to take a lemon and make some lemonade. And I guess that's the best way I can put it. He said all things work together for the good for those that love God and for those that are called according to his purpose. So I guess that's
Awesome.
a good way that I could put it.
All right.
Yes.
So, Tressa, Do
Yeah.
you have anything you want to share before we turn everything over to Terry?
So yeah, absolutely. So I also work with women, like I was saying in my website. I would like to tell everybody with my website so they can learn a lot more about me and my information. It is www.tressa, Tressa, Mitchener, Mitchener.com. And I just like to say that those people who are feeling stuck, I like for them to know that they're never alone. There's always help out there, and I'm one of those resources for help. So I do want to encourage everyone that I can definitely help with some of these traumas that's going on.
That's awesome.
Well, Terry?
Yes.
So I guess we'll go ahead and get to Terry. So Terry,
Hey,
some of this information you have.
Yes. Okay, so what do y'all want to start? Now I can
So
see myself.
yeah,
Yes.
so
Okay.
go ahead and share some of your information you got with us.
Okay. Okay. Well, basically defining street ignorance. What I called the definition of street ignorance, and is when you basically when you're being duped by your own behavior, when you are doing the same things over and over again, and you expecting some different results, but at the same time you're being duped by your own best thinking. And that's what I call street ignorance, when you are basically trying to just cheat your way through life. And I realized that a great mass of the population basically sort of kind of contemplate on these ideologies of doing the same things over and over again without the positive part of living. It's always exhibiting some values, or either exhibiting a thought life of just trying to do something and not getting some good results from it. Basically, just robbing yourself from living. So that's what street ignorance to me is. Yes.
So Terry, when you say you robbing yourself, can you explain to us what do you mean by that? Robbing yourself?
Well, robbing yourself from living is basically putting yourself in bad situations, or making so many bad decisions that you never can move forward. It's sort of kind of like you going through life on a treadmill. You're making decisions, but you're not going nowhere. You're just running and ended up in the same spaces, in the same places, in the same faces, doing the same things over and over, and getting the same results. And you're basically just cheating yourself from your full potential out of life.
So how are you going about in the community and helping these people with that?
Okay. Well, it's so many dynamics. Out in the community, so many challenges and so many barriers. Each and every person face. Nobody has the same challenge. And what I have seen outside in the community, that there's a great need for people that are living by example. And it's sort of kind of, the positivity has always been, the light has always been a positive gesture for people to have a desire to change. If you're around negative things all the time, that's sort of kind of the arena that is in. It's kind of dark always. It's no type of good energy, none whatsoever. But when there's somebody coming around exhibiting that light, what it does, it motivates people to want to do something positive, want to do something constructive, want to do something productive. And that's what I try to display each and every day, especially to these kids out here in the community. Try to exhibit some sense of hope, meaning that if he can do it, I can do it too. If he can come from such a dark place in his life and make a comeback, because that's what God specializes in. God specializes in comebacks.
Right.
And and that's just facts. God takes the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, and He specialized in the actual of a person's fall to basically build him all the way back up, and people to see that for His glory.
That's right. That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Terry, I want to ask you, did you have an event that occurred in your life that brought you to this understanding?
Oh, did I have an event? You need to add an S on that. Events. Did I have some events? Yes, of course. There were several events that had happened in my life that I say, and I always raise my hand, which I consider to be self-inflicted. A lot. A lot was self-inflicted injuries that I took these self-inflicted. Well, actually, in all actuality, let me back it up a little bit. There were things that had happened in my life that basically the conditions had caused my cognitions or my thinking to be challenged to a place that I sort of kind of I blamed everybody around me for my conditions until I decided to when that light came on, I realized that it was nobody's fault, basically, but mine. And a lot of us, we don't have a lot of good cards that are dealt to us. But the thing about the hand, do we keep playing? That's the thing about it. You know, we have the hand that is dealt to us, but do we make a good, sagacious decision, or do we decide to play this hand that we have? And that's what we have to be in life. You have to, and I've learned, no matter how the cards are dealt to you, you have to learn how to play the hand, you know.
So Terry, do you want to tell us about, because I know you wrote some books. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to tell us about the books that you wrote and about the programs that you're working with the guys with the ties that I heard about?
Okay, yes, most definitely. Well, I got a couple of books that are out now. One is called The Definition of Street Ignorance. It's what you know, what you think you know, and what you don't know about the streets, and when you don't have a clue about the consequences of street life. And then the next one is, and I know it sounds sarcastic, it's called So You Want to Go to Prison. And I know that's the name. A lot of people ask, well, what made you name that? Your behavior is going to dictate where you're going. So at first I named it the first name that I gave it was like intel on going to prison. That was the name of it. I said, nah, that's not going to sit with me on that. So I sat back and I prayed on it and I came up with, I said, why don't I just come out with what I'm actually talking about? So you want to go to prison. Your behavior is going to dictate where you're going. So when you hear the title, it sort of kind of makes you think. And I have a sign that I have on the side of my car. And I see it all the time because it promotes my books and everything, that I'm doing. And on the side, it says, Terry Ruffin, book. So you want to go to prison. And when I be at the stoplight, sometimes you can see people, they look and they see the sign and they go, they turn around and look straight. So right then and there, I know that, a lot of our behaviors, a lot of people don't know it could be the smallest simple thing, but it could be that thing that gives them some damaging consequences or causes them to go to the prison system.
So what about the ties, Terry, that
Okay. Yes. And also as far I'm having a campaign, and actually it's still running. It's called Donate a Shirt and a Tie to a Trying to Change His Life guy. And we've been having like a great response from the community. Everybody's donating ties and brand new shirts, and these shirts and ties go to young men who are going on the jobs. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to change the narrative of young men, basically. Because I remember me coming up, when you hear a job interview, it's just like you going to church. You had to put you had to put a tie on, a nice little shirt. You had to look, your attire had to be, proper. And basically, I mean, truthfully, like even after the COVID, it's sort of kind of like anything now. You don't know, like when a person is going for a job interview, you look, they have on anything, because, employers now are just looking to hire people because it's kind of hard to find good work now. So the attire part is sort of kind of thrown out. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to break that narrative of just wearing anything on a job to bringing it back to the shirts and ties and looking decent and, you know, being able to be a representative, a good representative or having a good presentation of yourself when you go for a job interview. So, and this is what we have been doing. And we've been having such a great response from the community that now I'm in the process of we're putting an event together called 100 Men teaching 100 kids how to tie 100 ties. And this is going to be big because I am compelling and employing so many men out here in our community to basically just step up to the front. You know how to tie a tie. Actually, I don't have some men to call me, be like, I want to participate, Terry, but I don't know how to tie a tie. So that shows me. That shows me like, and it's a beautiful thing because at the same time, each one teach one. We still learning, we still growing. We come together as a community, and you know, not only are there kids that can't tie a tie, there are grown men that can't tie a tie that we're going to help them learn how to tie a tie, and then they're going to pass it down and help us teach other kids how to tie a tie.
So Terry, where are you located?
Out in Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Okay. You want to tell people if they want to donate to the shirt and tie, how they can do that real quick?
Yes, most definitely. And that's a good thing. Thank you so much. If you want to donate to, and the name of the campaign is called Donate a Shirt and Tie to a Trying to Change His Life Guy. That's donate a shirt or a tie to a trying to change his life guy. I know the name sounds kind of, you know, but this is what it's all about. You know, a person that's trying to change his life, trying to get a job, trying to get him some soft skills, some practical skills, just trying to do the right thing. You know, these young men need these ties out here and a nice shirt to wear on these job interviews or wherever they're going to try to make this type of change in their life. And you can donate it and you can send it directly. You can send it to 402 East Virginia Street. That's Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And it's Terry Ruffin. It's 402 East Virginia Street. And that's Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And my email address is goodbrother, which is GOODBRUTHA22@gmail.com. That's goodbrother22@gmail.com. Not brother, BROTHER. It's BRUTHA22@gmail.com. Or you can call me and I can give you more information. And my number is 910-218-6810. That's 910-218-6810. Yeah, that's it.
2810.
Yeah.
Okay.
910, no, 6810. 910-218-6810.
Okay. And what is the zip code in Rocky Mount?
My apologies, 27804.
Okay, I just want you to be sure to repeat it because if people are downloading or listening to this on Spotify and they want to participate.
Okay,
so let's repeat it just one more time.
Okay, that's 402 East Virginia Street, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Not Rocky Mountain, it's Rocky Mount, ROCKYMOUNT, North Carolina, 27804. My email address is goodbrother22@gmail.com. That's GOODBRUTHA22@gmail.com. And my phone number is 910-218-6810.
Great.
Is that it?
Yes, we got it. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Terry, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us about your project?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, you know, we also mentioned, you know, not only we talked about a little bit, or have I talked about street ignorance, but I also you know, expound a lot on the definition of prolonged adolescence, which is my third book that's about to be released in June. It's called The Definition of Prolonged Adolescence. And the prolonged adolescent come in at when, you know, you have men basically now that are exhibiting behaviors such as, say, if they're 25 and 30 years old, or 35 and some 40, well, it's safe to say 50 now. They're still exhibiting behaviors as a 15, 16, 17, or 18-year-old. And it's called the definition of prolonged adolescence. And it's just when you are refusing to grow up. And we're seeing a lot out here now in the community, just men that's not exhibiting responsibility and accountability.
Now, when you talk to these men, do they give you a particular reason that they're not accepting accountability?
Yeah, yes and no. I guess it's safe to say that, sometimes when people are coming to you and they're challenging you with these realities or these truths, it's it's very easy to deny. Because I had suffered at one time what I considered to be prolonged adolescence, meaning that I was just refusing to grow up. I just thought that, it was about me, and nobody else. I'm not accepting responsibility or any type of accountability for anything that, around me. And, a lot of, we see a lot of men, not all, but it's a great majority, of men that are basically displaying these type of truths. And it's safe to say it's some women that are displaying them now too. As far as prolonged adolescence, that should be in certain spaces, at a certain time of their life, and they are not, because they just refuse to take accountability and responsibility for some, actions or things that are keeping them hindered to that space.
So Terry, are the guys or the men that you're actually working with, because I have my BA in psychology, so
yeah,
it's a theory of nurture versus nature, that sometimes when children are younger and they're not nurtured by the parent, that nature takes over. And when nature takes over, that's when they get into this state of the prolonged adolescent. Is that a lot of what you're dealing with?
Yeah, actually that's facts, and we see a lot of that in the communities. And what I've also seen is it's just so easy you can go throughout life, and if you don't take that accountability, you can find yourself kind of hard to make a comeback. If you get up in a certain age and you don't, and you look back and you just been doing what you want to do and not getting with the game of life, you can find yourself being stuck. And I've seen that. I've seen, a few people that basically have come to a space now that they've wasted so much time, wasting time, that it's kind of hard for them to get back. And I know how it is, because and I just give praise to God. It's only through the grace of God that I'm where I'm at. But also at the same time, I had to make the decision to either move forward with my life or just stay behind and not, add up to my full potential.
We have a question from the audience. They want to know, how does mental illness factor into these situations?
Woo! That's big. Because now, like in our society, that's the blame now. The blame is mental illness. But we never really talk about mental health. And it's two factors. Either you're going to be mentally healthy or you're going to have a mental illness. And a lot of us, this is where that prolonged adolescence comes in, that you become mental ill. And a lot of us, we hold on to what we call the inner child. And that's big out here now. It's the inner child. You hear people, it's the inner child. And it's true, because a lot of us still have an inner child on the inside that holds us back from our full potential and refusing to grow up, because we don't want to deal with those things that happened to us when we were a child. So it always reflects back, and it's damaging consequences to all of our relationships. And we try to figure out what's going on with us when, it may be 45, or 48 or 55, but I have a 11 or 12-year-old boy on the inside of me that's just refusing to allow me to live. You know what I'm saying? Until you're able to deal with it.
And is that based off like the pain points, those when you're hurting and you never deal with those hurts from a child?
Yes, most definitely. And it's common, and a lot of behavior that we have, I mean, truth be told, a lot of behavior that we get is learned behavior. A lot of us start out lying right in the household. I was talking to somebody about that earlier, and it was like, Terry, what you mean by that? Yeah, you learn lying a lot from learned behavior. Like if somebody comes to your house and it may be somebody in your house and be like, tell them I ain't home. So you run to the door. Oh, she ain't home. She just told me. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of that is learned behavior, and we do it. You pick the phone up, and when I was coming up, we had landlines. And I think about it sometimes, like, how was everybody home then? How did everybody know what time to call when you had a landline? Because cell phones now, you call anybody anywhere. But I remember times, and I seen it. Not only just not only in my household, and it innocently. It's not like it's pun intended, but sometimes it's the things that we do and we pick up, and we just carry it on in life, and we don't even realize that, hey, what I'm doing is wrong. You see what I'm saying? And we reflect back and like, well, I learned it from, or I learned it from this person or that person innocently.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's just facts. I know, pretty much everybody can agree with somebody telling them to say, I ain't home. Or I'm not here. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So Terry, do you got anything else that you want to share with us about the I mean, because this is a very, very good topic, because I'm pretty sure everybody sees it all the way around. I mean, I've seen it in the men, I've seen it in the women. So is it anything else that you can tell us to help us on this topic?
Yeah, as far as, because it's it just plays a major role in the community, period. Because like the lifestyles now, we have gone so far from being able to live out our true truths. We're living in a society now that it's okay to lie. It's okay to cheat. It's okay to do things that that we supposed to have learned that wasn't good. So how do you fight with these dynamics, or to even know that a person is really struggling with some type of not necessarily saying mental illness, but if it stops you from progressing from point A to Z, then yeah, it may be an illness, because it's stopping you. It's something like a virus in a computer. It's stopping you from actually developing and growing,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I certainly appreciate you sharing with us this great information, Terry.
Yes.
Sheila, you got any more questions for him?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I know you've got this event coming up, but what's next for you?
Oh man, I just got so much that I want to do. To whom much is given, much is required. I'm always thinking about something that I can do to help or be a blessing to my community. Because it's a beautiful community when you have a bunch of kids that desire to do something beautiful and to be successful. And that's what I want to. I want to display this. I want to display kids that are actually being motivated by willingness and being motivated by productivity each and every day, that they can go out here and they can make a difference, and they don't have to join a gang in order to be somebody, or they don't have to live a certain lifestyle to accommodate negativity, that they can do something, be themselves, and go on and be successful in life.
Right. With the breakdown of the family unit and with both parents having to work, a lot of times kids are left on their own to take care of themselves out of pure necessity. And I think what you're doing is offering them the role models that they're actually lacking in their day-to-day life. And again, not against the parents, because I mean, really, to raise a family, it takes both parents working anymore.
Yes.
And so what you are really doing is totally changing lives and providing these programs. Now, how many kids would you say, like in a year, that you end up working with?
In a year time, probably, I can't even, it's so many. I probably couldn't even basically put a number on it, because I look at my walk as, sort of kind of each kid that I come across it's a divineness with it. Like, there's a meaning and a purpose for the kid being, me being in the kid's life, or them being in my life. Like as I said yesterday, I said a lot of times people think that the mentor is teaching the kids, but I'm learning from them.
Right, right.
The mentee teaching me, Yesterday we went out to the lake. I took a couple of kids out to the lake, and I always give a word for the day. And yesterday we talked about stereotyping, and I had them on the circle, and I gave them the definition of stereotyping. And after I gave them the definition, we took a walk around the lake, and they each told me their own in their own sentence of what stereotyping was. So they all excited about the word and everything. So at the same time, I'm walking around the lake, and there was a gentleman that was out there fishing. And in my mind, every time I come to this lake, I said, I always see people fishing, but I never seen anybody catch a fish. So in my mind, like, they're actually throwing the line out there to a body of water, or any body of water that's not productive, that doesn't have anything in it. This is what I'm thinking. So it was a gentleman that was fishing, and he was about to go, and he took his line and he threw it back in the water. And I said, did you catch anything? He said, nah, not today. I was like, yeah. I said, well, there's probably no fish in there. I said, it's probably a whole bunch of little small fish in there. He said, no, I found an 8-pounder. No, he said, I caught an 8-pounder one time and a 6-pounder another. And he pulls his phone out and he starts showing me these pictures from the same lake with these big fish. I was like, oh my God, I just stereotyped. The lake. I told him, I said, I stereotyped the lake. I swore out there was no fish inside the lake, when in all actuality, it was some of the biggest fish that I have seen. And that's how, and I thought about it when I got home, and I said, thank you, God, because you never know what God is producing. You never know what's inside a person. And I look at it as the analogy of each child or kid that I deal with. You never know their full potential. Just because they may not show it at the time, but it doesn't mean that it's not there. So there was a good analogy that I had got from my word yesterday, which was stereotype.
Yeah, that's a great word. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things as you're talking, it makes me think about so many times at the workplace, you can go into any kind of a business where there's young people working and they're all on their phones. It's not, may I help you? Can I show you something? Do you need assistance? They're just sitting there on their phones. And so when you're working with kids, are you expressing to them I'm sure you are, but the importance of showing up and being their very best every day?
Oh yeah, that's number one uno. I have a lot of videos that I make, and I create these topics, and I give these examples of them missing the mark. Like literally, you're so correct, because we live in a social media world now, and what people don't know, that we are the social media. We are think about it. Nobody can know about anything if a person didn't tell them. So whatever a person says, it goes on that media. And I always, because I also help the sheriff out at the sheriff department with the Scared Straight program. I've been doing that for a couple of years at Edgecombe County Sheriff Department. And I speak to the parents, and a lot of things that I talk about with the parents is the things that they don't know that the kids are exhibiting. Like, prime example, I said the first thing you need to check is the phone, because that phone is going to tell you everything about your child. That's what they call it, the iPhone. They call it the iPhone. Pick your phone up. It's going to tell who your child is. You know what I'm saying? So they can't say, who did this? Who put it? I. You're the only one with the phone. So the phone actually tells who the child is. Everything that you want to know about their child, whether what type of game, their interests, their hobbies, even some of the dark stuff that they deal with, some of the challenges and everything, the stuff that's good and stuff that's wrong, that's bad, it's going to be on that phone. So the first thing I tell the parent is check your child's phone. When you check that phone, matter of fact, check it all the time, especially social media. And now they have apps. They have what you call dummy apps. And the dummy apps is, it may look like a Play Store app, but you press that app, it'll be something totally different. These are the things you have to watch out for. Phones now, they have restrictions. We just don't take the time up to pick the phone up to go through the phone before you actually hand it to your child. You just hand the phone to your child straight out the box. And when you do that, you opening up the whole world. You giving them an adult world, a child. You giving them that phone. You giving them an adult world, which they are not ready for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wanted to read another comment that came through. It said, thank you,
Yes.
Terry, for making a difference in the lives of so many people. The earth needs more of you. Hoping that more will step up and follow your lead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's my prayer, that each one would teach one. Our community now is becoming bankrupt in all actuality. We're becoming bankrupt of positivity. And I want these youth to know out here that it's people out here that's still doing something positive, and it's okay to be you. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to make good decisions. It's okay to make good choices. So, and that's what I try to exhibit, each and every day.
Terry, I did have a question before you finish up.
Okay.
About phones, but do you think that part of the prolonged adolescence has anything to do with a lot of the video games that a lot of the kids are just stuck?
Oh man, yeah, because you got grown folks there. You got more grown folks that play games than the kids now. If you look at the sales are coming from adult households, and this is more of a pastime. And these games have everything in them. If it's anything that's gonna promote prolonged adolescence, it's gonna be those games. And thing about it, you can start out at 11 years old playing a game, but if they are putting out a different game of the same game each year, and that child is getting that different game, the advanced game each year, he's still the 11-year-old boy playing that game. He's not growing up with the game. The technology is just getting more techy, but he's still the kid playing the game. So yeah, it most definitely promotes prolonged adolescence. And a lot of us don't want to hear that, because the first thing we say is, not my child. No, not my child. My child don't do none of that. When you don't know what your child do when you ain't around. You don't know. Because, a lot of us made bad decisions when parents weren't around. When did most things happen? Most things happen when mama gone or when dad gone. That's when everything happens. Come on, we already know that's the truth. Yeah, we know we gonna do what we do. What time mama gone, or she go to the store, we cutting up. Cutting up. I remember one time my grandma had left, went right across the street to the store. I decided I seen a box of matches on the top of the mantle. I decided I want to climb the chair and grab those matches. I grabbed that match and stripped that match and threw it in the trash can. I thought it went out. It caught the whole trash can on fire, almost burnt the whole house. My grandma came to the house and saw me up. But I would have never done that had she been there.
Yeah.
And that's reality. True. Like a lot of things happen with the kids when the parents are not around. That's why it's so important. I got a chapter in my book, The Definition of Street Ignorance. What what you think you know and what you don't know about the streets. It's called Who is Teaching Your Kids, the Streets or You? When you at work and you working 8 hours a day, or you working 12 hours a day, and your kid is only in school for 5 hours, okay, then those hours that you are not around, what is your kid doing? Or if he's at little Junebug house or Kevin house down the street, what is Kevin's father or mother, what are they exposing your child to? You know, because all of us got different values, and every household is a different value. See, some parents don't curse around kids. Some parents do. You know, little Kevin may curse a lot. So then you find out that your son or daughter, now she's cursing, and you wonder where it come from because you don't do that in your house. It's who you allow your child to be around. And these truths they are self-evident.
Right. Let's see. Susie said she had a question for you.
Okay.
Well, more or less a comment, Terry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so interesting how you can accidentally change places. In other words, I was supervising in international law firms in Los Angeles. Then all of a sudden I had this injury, and my caseworker said, well, what do you think? Only denigrates are out there. There's attorneys and doctors out. And then it was really interesting because if I did get a job, then I took all the food that the attorneys weren't eating, and as I went to my bus stop, I would give it to all the homeless people because, I mean, the places switch so easily. And I want to comment one other thing you said. I also had a great opportunity to work with the ghetto kids. 2 of them were even Crips. I mean, had bullets flying around them, and it was so amazing as they learned how to meditate and learned how to have peace. And they called me homie. They go, homie, it just feels so good to have peace. I mean, it was so beautiful. And I learned probably way more than they learned. You said that they became my teacher because, we think we're something, and that can change just like that. Thank you so much, Terry, for the work you're doing.
Yes, ma'am.
It's so gratifying.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you so
gratifying
much.
to work with people. Yeah, it just helps, makes us feel better.
Yeah, most definitely. And
now, one guy came back to me and he said, homegirl, it took me like all months to make this money, and I could go out on the corner and do that selling crack in a night. And I said, yeah, but because you said how great you felt learning how to. So yeah, it's learning those emotions and feelings. So thank you, Terry. God bless you in your work. Mwah.
Yes, thank you so much. And that is the beauty right there. That is the beauty when, as I quoted the scripture out of the Bible, said that God takes the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. He takes people, he takes the addict, he takes the drunk, he takes the prostitute. He takes anybody that may look like they are failing in life and change their life around to be an impact. And this is what it's all about. It's about, and I ask myself each and every day, Terry, are you being effective? And this is what I try to do each and every day. I try to make it count. Am I being effective? And if I'm being effective, you know what? Positivity is contagious. It really is. Now negativity is contagious too. That's why a lot of kids suffer damaging consequences through peer pressure, but they make their own choices. But the beauty in positivity, when somebody can take that and it change their life for the better, and it can happen to anybody, if they just exhibit these truths.
That's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to kind of wrap up here because I want Tressa to talk just a few minutes about the event that that's going to be coming up that everybody can view. But in wrapping up, what are some tips or maybe some things that you'd like to talk about that we weren't able to touch on tonight?
Well, basically, for me, kindness, it pays off. There's a good payback with kindness. You never know how you may affect somebody, even with a hello, how you doing today? You never know. And, we're living in a world now that people are just mad. People are angry. You can be driving now. If you really want to know a person, you ride with them in the car. Ride with them. I don't care. It could be the pastor, the preacher, the priest. You ride with them. You cut in front of them, it's going to tell you who they are. Because you might get cursed out. And this is facts, because all of us exhibit this, these ways that we have. And those are the things basically that we do a self-examination of. This is something that I really need to deal with. I shouldn't have got that angry when they didn't go when the light turned green. Now I'm ready to ring the neck. Go! Why are you waiting at the light? And it don't mess your whole day up, Right. So, and we're living in a society now that people are, even dealing with, if you notice, the majority of people now that are committing crimes, that are getting a lot of time, they never even had a criminal history. These are people that they made a rash decision, got angry because they didn't deal with the anger, and did one thing that caused them damaging consequences that they can never come back from. They did that one crime that they can never come back from because they didn't think. And we got to think. We just got to learn how to think. And not only that, each one teach one. There's always somebody out there. And, that's why God created us. He created us for other people. You can't even be blessed without you being blessed through somebody. That's how we get blessed, through somebody else. Right. And this is where our blessings come at. So, be careful, how we treat people, because that may be your blessing.
True. Yeah. Thank you so much. And, on this program specifically, a lot of times we're talking, about ufology, and we're talking about people's other experiences. We're talking about ascension. We're talking about creating this new earth. But it's people like you that's helping to bring the new earth about, because you are planting these seeds for the next generation and teaching them that accountability, teaching them the morality that sometimes is often, lacking in their lives, in their homes. And so I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. And I want to one more time shout out, if you're interested in donating a shirt or a tie, that address again is 402 East Virginia Street, Rocky Mount, Mount, North Carolina, 27804. And Correct. If you want to reach out to Terry, if you're in his area, you want to volunteer, or, just have a conversation, you can reach him at 910-218-6810. So Terry, thank you so much for being here with us.
There's a song, there's an old song that says, call me if you need someone to talk to, call me.
There you go.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much for being with us. You have been an absolute delight.
And I wish thank you so much, Cosmic Conversations. And
wish you the best.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, peace. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Tressa.
Yes.
What energy and excitement and passion he brings tonight. Thank you so much for inviting him and to come to the show. But what I want you to do right now is to share with people the event that you have coming up. Tell people a little bit about the podcasting and a little bit more about the work that you do.
Okay. So I'm a co-host on the Brother and Sister podcast. So we have 1 or 2 shows that come out each week. Our show is very inspirational. We have a lot of guests on the show who have come from, like disastrous situations and just shown how God has worked in their life and how they came through. And so they get to tell their experience and how, there was some opportunities where they thought were not opportunity, but instances where they thought that they may not even survive or live, and how that situation just turned around with God's hand. And, you know, they had that in each person's life, they have their own revelation of God and relationship with God. And it just teaches each one of us how not to put God in a box because of everybody's different experiences. And some people have early experiences, some people have later experiences, and some people just have experiences when they're just at their lowest. And we go through a lot of this in the podcast, and just let people share what they've been through and how they have overcome in their life and in their troubles, because we want them to be able to let other people know that there's always help. No matter what you're going through, there's always someone that you can call on, and you know, it's God. And you know, there is some help for you. We are created beings, we're spiritual beings. So, you know, every problem in the natural has a spiritual answer. So we constantly try to share these events and stories so that people can understand and be enlightened by the power of God, and allow that inspiration to come to them so that they can seek their enlightenment.
Beautiful. And then you've got a big event coming up that's going to be out on YouTube and on the Conscious Awakening Network. You want to tell people about that?
Absolutely. We have an event coming out. It's an amazing event. It shares a lot of people in our stories. We have a Pastor Jeff Neal, who talks about mental health, how the mental health crisis is actually giving us resources as well. He's a firefighter with over 1,000 firefighters that work under him. And he talks about the pressures of being a firefighter all of his life. And then all of a sudden how mental health his mental health just crashed on him, and how, you know, he was delivered by the power of God through his crisis. We also have Tilda Whitaker, who is she's called the Coach's Mentor. She actually mentors women, and she has been mentoring women for probably over 20 some years, helping women off the streets, just sharing her love and her compassion to help women and continuously help women grow. So she's one of our guests that's on there. We also have Walter Hardy, who is a pastor, and he just talks about how, you know, sometimes, you know, when you grow up in a church and you think the church supports you, but when it starts getting into religion and tradition, how they harm you more than it's good for you. And how he was awakened by the Christ, and he wanted to move forward in his endeavor, what he believed God would have him to do, and how the people that he thought was going to be there for him, which was the church, actually were like the religious rulers, and how they kind of like came against him because he was trying to do what he felt his unction from God to do. And so he shares in that, and how religion and tradition just really tries to overpower you when you're trying to reach out to God and become that person that God will have you to become. We also have a Pastor Rodney Payne, who is a leadership coach. He's on there as well, and he talks about leadership and how the different avenues in leadership that he carries, along with his church called I think it's Bethlehem Star Baptist Church. He talks about different things going on in his church and the programs that he has that he is helping the community with there. And then we had a Trinity Brown, who is she created a journal called the Creator of the Aligned Action. And so she talks about rhythm therapy and how different rhythms affects your mental status, and how music can calm you down, how it helps you with meditation, and just how she came from a pretty bad childhood, but she learned about rhythm therapy and how this calmed her down, and it gives her the opportunity to meditate with God, to find her purpose and walk in her path. So we have some awesome guests on the show, and from different aspects of life, from different states, and they just share their life with us, so so they can try to help us overcome things that we may be dealing with.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
before we close tonight, I'd also like for you to say just a little bit about the guests that you've invited for this month.
Okay. So of course, Terry was our first guest. So we were so excited to have him. So our next guest will be Shalandra Spragley. Her story is absolutely amazing. She was on her way to work one morning and she was hit by a car and her neck was severed from the inside. The doctor that did her surgery never had did this type of surgery before in his life, and they told her she would never walk again. She would be paralyzed. All of these things, and she has the picture. The accident is actually caught on camera, and she was in a wheelchair one day, and her daughter wanted to go to a volleyball game, and her mom couldn't take her, and she said that gave her the strength to decide that she can't be in this wheelchair the rest of her life. And she began to constantly pray, and she's healed. She's healed walking. She has the scars, but she's healed and walking. And God had gave her the idea of to do a clothing line, and He gave her the word agape. But the definition He gave her for agape was a gift above people's expectation, meaning that what people say and what that she would never walk again, that she wouldn't do this, and which that we're always like that. People always say what we're not going to do, but God told her this is a gift above people's expectation, that He was the one, He's the power. So she's going to share her story. Then we have Shanithia Mabry. She actually talks about grieving, how to cope with grieving. She has taken so many classes and certified as a grieving coach, because she went through these spells each year when around Christmas time, and because her mom is not here, and this is when a lot of deaths took place in her family. And so she talks about grieving and how to deal with grief and the different ways because she gives us ways that we be grieving where we don't even think, oh, in our mind, that's not even considered grief, but it is grief once she explains it to us. And then we got another guest, PugFlava, which is the host on the Brother and Sister podcast. He produces music. He's also been through a lot where we talk about people's mindset, and where you never know what a person's mind is at or what they're thinking, because he was actually attacked and robbed by 3 guys who he never would have even thought that this would happen. But because of the situation and how it happened, these 3 guys ended up losing their life because of that one thought of going out to try to trying to rob him. But luckily he was prepared and his life was saved, but theirs were not. And so we just talk about the mindset and how you just never know what is on another person's mind. So there again, we got a lot of good guests with a lot of different topics to discuss, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here and bringing all these awesome guests and all the work that you're doing in the community to help women. I really do appreciate that. Now, before we leave, Miss Susie, you have a song for us. You have to.
Okay. I changed songs so many times because of our speaker, but I think I got one.
Okay, let's hear it.
I know that you can hear me. I believe you're there. And I know that you are listening to my humble prayer. Yes, I might be just an outcast. I mightn't speak to you. Still I see your face and wonder, were you an outcast too? God help the outcast, hungry from birth. Show us the mercy we don't find on earth. Please help my people, we look to you still. We help the outcasts, or nobody will. They ask for wealth, they ask for fame, They ask for glory to shine on their name. They ask for love that they can possess. They ask for God and his angels to bless them. But I ask for very little because I can get by. And I know so many less lucky than I. Please help my people, the poor and downtrodden, 'cause I thought we all were the children of God. God help the outcasts, we might be the outcasts. We help the outcasts, the children of God.
Oh, thank you, Susie. I know you went through all of your
Yeah.
songs to find that perfect song, so I appreciate that. I appreciate your showing up every week, and I'm so glad that your pneumonia is getting better. So I want to also, Tressa, thank you for being my co-host. Terry, I want to thank you for being our guest, and I wish everyone a beautiful and blessed evening. And until we are back together again, namaste and much love, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.